Hello, welcome to Inner Conquest, the world's greatest modern metaphysics channel. I'm your host, Jacob Edens, and today we're going to be discussing etheric constructs and whatever the frick that means. So, when you think about reality, right, there's a couple of dimensions that make sense when you understand it from a optics standpoint, right? So when you hear people talking about dimensional spacing, they normally talk about like fifth dimension, fourth dimension, third dimension being the most latent, reverberative, physicalized matter dimension. Your fourth dimension is your inner state, including thoughts and emotions. And you could call your fifth dimension your awareness, right? So you place your awareness, it's how you know that you're uniquely you, right? So when you are creating things, okay, when you have self-concepts and thought processes that you edify into yourself with emotion, they build what are called emotional grids. So an emotional grid is a construct in your electromagnetic field that is architected in a specific way, okay? So if you have a self-concept of something always going negative for you, right? And every time you try to do that thing, you get bad results because you just know that this is, hard or whatever, right? There's an emotion with an expectation attached to a thought, okay? We build these emotional grids through re-edification of the thoughts that we think. And specifically when we think thoughts that are out of alignment of love, those things become like attachments to us, okay? So if you have a fear of something that you keep re-energizing by re-adding that fear emotion to it, it will physically change the manifestation of your electromagnetic field, okay? So if you think of a field as a big ball of energy, right? In a perfect field, all the energy is emanating perfectly and it's all able to flow out of the field and it's all flowing and it's all good, right? Energy's coming off of it, kind of like a big energy ball, right? Now, when you have that big energy ball, right, because it's attractive in its nature, if you have a stoppage where you plug it in a specific spot, the energy can't get out of it. And what happens is the energy starts to build up, and then it crystallizes. And now that energy ball is out of balance, okay? So when you have unwanted thoughts and emotions that you've chronically thought for a long time, the way that you rid yourselves of those is you think of the energy ball, you purge out that blockage, okay? So when people say they have money blockages or they have health blockages or they have relationship blocks, that's what they're really talking about, is these different type of belief structures. Beliefs are thoughts that you've repeated over and over and over again to where they have enough momentum and power that they become non-contradictory in their nature. Every time my knee hurts, it rains, right? Why can somebody hold that belief system and observe that reality when somebody else doesn't hold that belief system and observes a different reality? It's because of their structured electromagnetic field, that what has been input into it, electromagnet field of energy and information, attracts people, places, and circumstances. So as you begin to understand a little bit more about who you are, you understand that you're in a body. You're not your body. You're a soul that's just as physical as this body, but you're in a body like a vehicle that's shaped like your soul. So you're still you. It's just a illusion of this place to be able to make you think that you can get hurt and things like that, because your soul doesn't experience that. The body can feel pain and things like that, right? So you're in a unique experience. But additionally, the way that you are glued into your body is through a toroidal field in your heart, which resonates a field of magnetism that glues you into it. But that field of magnetism, additionally, through thought and emotion, what you put into it is what you would call reflected outwards because of the magnetism that you innately are, right? So you walk around and you see individuals who have poverty consciousness, or they have wealth consciousness, or they have depression consciousness, or they have happy consciousness, or they have these different consciousnesses. And what does consciousness mean? Consciousness means aware. So what are they aware of all the time? Everything's going bad. Everything's always good for me. I'm a happy dude, right? What you're aware of chronically is the vibrational energetic signature that you are essentially building and crystallizing. So what do you do with this information, right? Well, when you start to understand this, right, it really helps to understand what's called fourth dimensional thinking. Because fourth dimensional thinking is thinking as if what you want's happening now. And the thought process behind that is that if I have a big electromagnetic field that is in essence coordinating all of the things that I'm running into in my day-to-day life, right? Oh, I just ran into Sally at the grocery store. Well, why did you run into Sally at the grocery store when there's 8 billion people on the planet? Do you live in a random universe? No, you live in a universe that has magnetic frequency alignment, which allows you to run into certain sectors of reality. So if your goal is to get all of the sectors the way that you want them, then you want to program your electromagnet as if what you want is happening now. And you want to stay persistent in that because, as we talked about earlier with the unwanted things, where you can form etheric blockages of fear and limitation, you can harmoniously program your field in a way that is in alignment specifically with 3 core frequencies, the top one being unconditional love, because when you have unconditional love, it's a place of pure potentiality and courage, okay? It's not ooey gooey, passive love. It's the creation force behind everything. It's just unconditional energy that loves everything, right? It's happy to help you build whatever you want, even if it's going to kill you. It's always loving you. It's always there for you. So when you start to build your electromagnetic field with unconditional love, you harmonize all of the different, you could call them tonalities, you could call them frequencies, you could call them vibrations, you could call them structures within yourself to essentially work in harmony, which is the opposite of things like dis-ease, right? You break apart the word disease, it's dis-ease, it's uneasy, right? What does it feel like when it's uneasy? It feels like static, right? Ugh. But if you have everything at ease, everything's flowing smoothly without blockages, right? So when you start to build your energy field, you begin to think and feel consciously. So when you think and feel consciously, the only way that you can effectively think and feel consciously is if you have a goal, okay? And that goal can be super general. That goal can be to feel good all the time. And why would you want to feel good all the time other than to just feel good all the time? Well, because I know that if I feel good, I want to do stuff. So if I feel really great, in the same way that a guy who does a bunch of cocaine wants to start a business, if I feel really good, I'll naturally be a better person. So that's a good goal to have, right? Getting your energy in harmony, getting your electromagnetic field flowing equally throughout the etheric construct that essentially magnetizes things to you, allows you to create harmonious things without friction. Many times when we want to solve things, it's because of friction and resistance, right? I love this. I love the money, but the job's really hard. Right? That's a conditional acceptance belief system that this has to happen before this can happen, right? And once you start to understand fourth dimensional thinking, you can go, oh, wait, I'm magnetizing everything now. Every new moment's a new moment. I'm magnetizing now. And what I've been trending on will precede what I run into in the future. So right now, if I choose to think as if I am the person I want to be now, and I have what I want to have, and I stay persistent in that, the energy signature that I'll send out will be a match to me actually having the thing that I want instead of pushing it off into the future. Well, once I get this, I can do this, or I have to do this to get this, right? That's the killing of all second causation, because it's really about being. But what does being mean, right? If you are something, it means that the totality of your being is vibrating at that frequency. So if you want to say, I am healthy, right? You want all of your beingness, your entire electromagnetic field to harbor what you deem as the energy of health, okay? So, when you start with an affirmation, I am so happy and grateful now, in this now moment, that I am healthy. And then if anything comes up that says you're not that, you have very clear awareness of where those old emotional grids have formed, right? as you continue to lay new tracks into new wavelengths of having what you want and being what you want to have, those old constructs will literally be pushed out of your energy field. Okay. So what happens a lot of times is people start making these changes and things get worse or nothing happens or etc. and they give up, right? So you just have to understand that persistence is the name of the game because of the, we call it stickiness of some of these different structures take a little bit of time to disengage and be purged out of you, right? So that's why everybody's so big on persistence. But persistence is much easier to have when you understand the metaphysical mechanics of why you're doing what you're doing, right? Because then it's not like a surprise of like, oh, I did this thing and it just magically appeared. It's like, oh no, I followed the process and I got what I wanted, right? Because when you have these different things, they fall under the category of what most people would call mysticism, right? So innately, when you have something under the category of mysticism or manifestation, it's like thinking of it from a perspective of this being like a magical thing. But it's really just lost knowledge, right? That is how the universe is constructed. So once you understand how the universe is constructed, you always understand that you have the ability to outthink your circumstance. Because if something's happening, it's just a reflection of what's in your field, what you've been thinking and feeling. And you always have the ability to outthink and outfeel something. Even if a feeling state's really bad, like depression, you can still think a thought, well, it's going to get better tomorrow. Everything's getting better. Everything's getting better, right? You can start to distance yourself from some of those old habitual patterns. And it may not happen as fast as you would like it to, but with anything in life, it's a game. So if you treat it as a game of mastering thought and emotion, you get more and more accurate. And specifically when applying revision, as you have something that happens, you revise it as if you had it happen the way you wanted it to, and you revise it again as if it happened the way you wanted it to, you revise it again in the way that you want it. You're teaching your electromagnetic field the accurate way to bring things to you, because the universe at large is really just mechanically bringing you what you're emitting through that field of energy and information. So the more you're able to control your inputs, the better you can refine your outputs of your what you could call manifestational results, right? So I know you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave comments in the comment section. Additionally, the link tree has all of the coaching if you'd like to check that out and work with me one-on-one. The most important thing I have to say today is go conquer, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.